Hello everyone. Welcome to part 9 of the deck roof project. This is the final portion of this video. So if you're ready, now for the rest of the story. We're painting our balusters today because we decided we're not going to wait for the month of May. We're going to paint them today so that we can get them up maybe tomorrow. Yeah, we'll do that. I figured I'd just do them this way. But like I say, this is only the first coat. Gonna need another one. A little time consuming, but not all that bad. So we'll show you a little more as we get further along. You'll watch one baluster being painted. Gets kind of boring if you watch too many of them being painted. So we'll stop the video at this point, and we'll come back on it when we get them almost all painted. Alright, we figured we'll just paint these right over the paint can here. And we set them out there on the little sticks to dry. It's a little easier to manipulate that baluster here and get it all into the nooks and crannies, like your English muffin, you know, all the nooks and crannies. Yep. Get the butter in there. Only the first coat anyways. Of course I end up getting more paint on my hands than on the baluster, but that's nothing new. I never claimed to be a painter. Now we got to touch up where it was scuffing against the paint can. This way I can get all around this, even though it's the first coat. We end up painting four sides anyways, but not a problem. Doesn't really take any more time to speak of. Baluster number, let's see, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Baluster number 9. All right. This way, you know, we spin them around here and get that paint right in that little area that's very hard to get otherwise. You spin them around, you know, get the paint right in there. Okay, well, as you can see, I got 12 little old 36-inch balusters here that are all painted white for the first coat only. Alright, we'll put a second coat on these in a few hours. Right now, we're going to take this brush, this can of paint, and this ugly old goat is going to go over and touch up for a little bit on the rails out on the other side. Follow me. If you remember on an earlier video, I said that I may paint these redwood, which I decided not to do. But it's only got one coat of paint on it. That's why it only has one coat, and this has two, because I had left this bare. But I decided we're going to put the second coat of white on here. And this needs a second coat, because this has only got one coat. There's a lot of little bugs and stuff that got with rain last night. The guys at Home Depot told me you're supposed to wait till the end of May to paint. Well, I can't wait forever. You know, I paint between raindrops. You know, this didn't really get wet up here. The rails did. And that that barn house paint I showed you, that Kilts redwood, it scraped off of my fingernails. It was dry 12 hours before it rained. But as soon as that stuff got wet, I could take and peel it right off. It came off, it's like watercolor. So, that's the paint we used on the side and on the plywood over here. So what I am going to do, what I did actually, is I went to Home Depot and bought a gallon of Bears, had to mix it up, porch and deck flooring paint, gloss, had to mix it up this color. So we're going to do this, but this will be later on, and it probably won't be on this project here. Okay. Now these are nails up here, I'm not too worried about that. But I got to give a second coat on these posts here. I'm going to give a second coat on these. All these things here are bugs that got stuck to it, little gnats or whatever. Now, if we get paint on the rails, I'm not too worried about it. I got to do these rails over again and put the good paint on the top, you know. Yes, sir. Alright, what I'm doing here is the other day I had to caulk this in several places, so I'm just touching up with the brush here over the caulking that I put up there, because that kind of shows if I don't. So that's what we're doing. Plus, it doesn't help to have all these damn dead bugs on everything. It makes it with all these little black dots that you see. Yeah. Just I need to touch up where because these damn bugs are making a mess of everything. All right. These damn bugs. You know, without the ladder it's kind of hard, but I already got one coat on this, and I got to be careful I don't splash on the house. Of course, naturally I don't have my wet cloth with me. I'm never prepared, because that's when I'll splash the house, when I don't have my wet cloth. Yeah, you can't get oil-based paint anymore. I wouldn't have all these problems with these rails here if that was oil-based. Anyways, I just want to get another coat on this plywood here. All this here has the second coat already on it, but this part didn't. So I think it's could use it. Well, folks, first things first. We're going to have to make a little jig up here so we can work with this piece here. So what we're going to do here, get this in the center as much as I can. whatever's handy. Alright, what I'm going to do here, make up a jig. Make two of these up. I'm going to V it out here. The wood sits like this in the V, so that this part is straight up. I'll take my planer, which is right here, and you've seen me use this on the header on the deck roof. Well, we're going to nail this piece after we cut these out onto the end. So, first things first, we're going to cut this out with the skill saws. I mean, nothing fancy, nothing to write home about. It's just a little, it's a little jig. That's all it is. So I don't cut my workbench up here. Trim it out a little bit. Okay. We're going to make two of these. Just like this. Alright. Take the pattern here. The same width plywood. So we don't need to... Nothing fancy, nothing dancy. Just a little jig. This will enable me to hold the wood at the proper angle so I can plane it. Now, get our hammer, put this thing together. First of all, we're not going to pre-drill, we don't have to get that, just start a couple of nails here. Noisy place today. Damn noisy motorcycles. Make two of these. See? Kind of looks like a little airplane, doesn't it? Actually, it looks like a bomb, you know? Boom. Okay, well, enough fooling around now. We gotta get to work. We got the other one here. I gotta put that on here. Same way. Nothing precise, but it's just to hold the wood. Okay. Now the method to my madness is as follows. This goes up like this, this goes up like that. This holds the wood into place. Now I'll have to clamp it. Probably have to clamp this down somehow. And this is only going to enable us to plane up to this point, then I can move it out and then I can plane over here. This is not fitting as tight as I'd like it to, but what I'm trying to do is to get a zoom in on this. They don't sell molding like this. what I'm doing is making a piece, inch and a half, so I'm planing this part off here, so that when that sits in that corner, here's the deck, here's the side, it sits in that corner, that gives me a runoff for the water. The balusters will attach to that. Alright, I can stop recording now. Okay, this is the first time I ever made up a rig like this. It's a Mickey Mouse arrangement, but it enables me to hold this wood in the proper way to some extent, so I can plane off this part here. It's probably not going to be too stable. Matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do is to put some nails in here, and then I'll have to move the wood. So what I'm going to do is I'll slide the wood down to here, and we'll put a nail in here to hold it to the block. Put a nail in here, and what I'll do is I'll plane this part, pull up the nails and move it down, because it's very important that this stays in the V. And the problem I've got here is my clamp is in the way. What I did here, this is a temporary spot, temporary nailing I should say. This just holds this wood in place, and when I plane, I only plane up to here. The clamp won't allow me to go any further anyway, so there's no danger of hitting that nail. That nail just holds it into place here. So when I do my planing, I'll start from here and I'll go down to here, and we'll try to get as much down as we can. Start here at this point. I would like to take it down some more to make it that angle that I showed you in the beginning of the video. I can try to do that. I don't know how successful I'll be, and I got a whole arm full of, sleeve full of wood shavings. Now what we'll do is we slide the block down a little bit here to enable me to get to this end down here. So what we're going to do is we'll clamp the block so it doesn't move. Well, actually, we can't clamp on this bench because the bench is too thick. No. That ain't going to move anyway, so we're going to just do this edge here. That looks pretty good. Okay, what we're going to do here, we're going to take it to the other side and see what she looks like. Now these holes that I made for these nails will be used to nail it down in, so there's no problem there. This is not a perfect, it's not great, but I think it's close enough. So alright, if you take a look here, this is the angle I was trying to achieve. Took a lot of planing, but we got it. It's not 100%. Some parts are a little rounded here, but it's close enough. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the piece that goes over here. There's another piece that's going to go in here. Now this is 8 foot and so is the deck. So unfortunately, we're going to have to take our other piece and come over out with it and then angle it this way. We can't miter the corners because there isn't enough length on this to allow me to do that. If there was, I could bring this out like this and then miter it, but I can't do that. So we'll do the other. The one I got for here is 6 foot long, so I got to cut it down to the 42.5 or whatever the length is here and allow for this, and then so we'll be planing on that, but we're not going to be doing that on video because you've seen it already. Okay, I got one coat of paint on these pieces I power planed down, and over here I got a second coat of white paint on the balusters, Now I'll show you what I did over on the other side. What I did here is I painted this white, and the reason I did that is I want it to look like a railing with the balusters coming down, and the pieces that I power planed will be white down here. It'll look like a railing even though it's not, and the same wood over here. This will still be redwood on the top part, but this part here is going to look like it's a railing. So from the road, that's what it's going to appear to be, is a regular railing. So I think that'll kind of like break it up a little and make it look not so plain like it does now. Okay. Alright, we're going to nail this into place, and we got a pre-drill. We already got holes in it from when we planed it down on the jigs, if you were watching that part of the video. If you don't pre-drill this, it'll crack on you, split. And then, of course, naturally I'll paint this. This has only got one coat on it. Okay. Now we'll nail over here because we got a hole in it, and then we got to put some more holes. Okay. Now, when I take the balusters out, I'll measure one down and I'll get the angle here, and the baluster will be cut about a 45 down here so it fits against the wall, and the baluster will probably come to about here, but it'll have an angle on it. Alright, get it come over here. Okay, we're going to be putting this piece in now. I just got it laid here now. We got the angle cut. As I said, we couldn't do a miter, but because of the length of this, it was 8 feet, and the deck was 8 feet. But we did it this way, and we put some caulking in between the plywood and the deck. Who knows what it'll do? It'll help at all, I don't know. But now, when the balusters go in, they're going to be painted white. They're already white, as a matter of fact. They'll be coming down, and one will be here, one will be here, and then they'll be spread out and spaced properly all the way down the line, and the same here. There'll probably be one baluster here, one here, and 2 in the middle. You know, I've got 12 balusters, so I think it comes out to about 11 balusters. First things first. We drill this, otherwise we'll split the hell out of it. Make sure that we're good there. Now we do have holes in here from before, but not as many as the other one. I think there's one here. Not sure though. Well, we'll put one right here. I'm not sure about that, if that's a hole or not. The battery's a little low on this, but that's okay. I've got a spare battery. So. Never perfect, because there is a little bow in this, as I told you in an earlier video. Right. And there. Okay. All right, that's it. Okay, first things, we're going to get the measurements, and each one may have to be cut and try like we did with the rafters, because one cut here measured doesn't mean it's going to fit down there, and vice versa. So what we do is we put it up against the wall like this, and we draw the cut mark. This tells me that this faces the wall, because this has only got one coat of paint on it here. So the balusters are going to sit like this. When they're cut in, they're going to sit like this. So as you're looking at it from over here, it's going to be a good contrast. It'll be like this. And this will look like a top rail, and this will look like a bottom. It's more cosmetic than anything else. Obviously, it's not a rail, but it appears to be one. So I think it'll be looking pretty decent. So we're going to go and cut this baluster, and when we do that, I'll check this down here and see how this one fits. If I'm lucky, I can cut them all the same. If not, the angle will be the same, but the length may be a hair off one way or the other. Alright, we're going to do I'm going to cut the baluster. First in this is 45. Appears to be less than a 45. Like I say, these angles that I make are not always the best. And when I power planed that, nobody said it was going to be accurate. We're going to cut that a little longer. Okay, let's go try it. The baluster is a little bit long, but you know what? It's better to have a little long, because you can always take off, as I said. A little short, you can't do nothing. You're SOL. You know? So, as you can see, we have to take less than a blade width off of this to get this to fit. But before we do that, let's just see where this sits on the rest of it here. Now you see this one? This one fits good. See what she fits here. This is a hair short. Let's see what she does here. These damn bugs. Keep squishing them. They're all over the place on this thing. Alright, this baluster here fits perfectly over here. If you take a look and bring the camera over here and check the angle down the bottom here, just come down like this and aim in. You can see where we're sitting good, right against the plywood, sitting good up here. Briefly though. Alright, as I had mentioned out there on the other side, this is the same length as the end one and a couple other places along the way. Alright, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut this one a little longer. I can always trim off, shave them off as I go along, because we're going to use this one as a template, and we'll trim that off. This is the one we're going to use, so I'm going to mark this end. Now this is the master one that we're doing all our measurements from. But every one of them that we mark from this will be a blade width longer. We can always shim it out, always cut it down. But as I said, you cannot add on once you chop it. Well, with caulking we can. We've done that before. Okay, let's just double check it. Yes, as you can see, we're a little longer, and that's what we want. Now will you countersink? I've had this countersink as a hand one. I've had this, oh, I'd say 40 years. It's a handy little thing to have. It's just gets the nail head or the screw, whatever you're using, below the surface of the wood. That's all. Now, I already pre-measured these spacing, and I got it marked down below. Now, step back here and take a look at it. The only thing I got to do is that other side over there. But if you've seen one side, you've seen them all. So that's all we're going to do for today. We'll finish up on this project tomorrow or whenever. We got to do some caulking in here. And we're going to very carefully put another coat of paint on here. Very carefully. Touch up wherever I need to do. Well, it's about, I would say, 95% finished here. There's another stray cat that somebody left off. Female, really friendly, but she don't stay in the house. Anyways, as you can see, I've got it all. I didn't put the second coat of paint on here to cover up the nails and so forth. I did do the caulking, and I got these all nailed into place. Over here I had to, when I cut off the rail to put this post in, well, I had to put a piece of rail back in here again, and this will get painted white. Originally this part here was painted white, but I decided not to, as I told you in an earlier video. And basically we're just going to have this end here painted white on the bottom. Hello, Sally. She's a love bug, but she's about a year old or so. But she'll have to stay out along with the other one. The other one that you see on this video has been here for quite a few years, but he's a clawer. He claws on everything, so we would never allow him in the house. And we lost our pet Snoopy after 12.5 years. I had to have him put down. He had cancer, and very sad thing that happened. And you know, we kind of like we're going to take in another cat, but she will stay in for a few hours, but then she'll go out. Even though you set up a cat box for her, she'd still rather go out. But anyways, on this project here, this is basically done. So rather than to drag this video out for hours and hours and segment after segment, because it's, you know, it's got to come to an end eventually. But what I'm going to do here, when we get warm weather, if we ever can get a week without rain, I will do the floor and the steps and the sides. And we do that, but that will not be on video. But here's what I am going to do, but it will not be on video also, is I've got some lattice, some white plastic lattice that I'm going to close in the sides to match the skirting over here. So there's going to be lattice from here down, there's going to be lattice over here up to this point here. So this will be redwood, and this will be the white lattice going over it, and over on this side. And this will enable me to store some stuff in here. It's the lattice. I got this given to me. Well, I got it from the park owner, and it was sitting. It's the plastic lattice, but I left it here so when it rains it'll get washed off. I got to do some scrubbing, get this cleaned off. I've got this piece here. Then I've got these pieces here. This is about 7 feet here. And this one here is 8 foot, this piece. So the 2 8-footers will take care of the front of the deck, and the rest of this will go on the sides and under the steps. And the only thing I had to buy are these strips that you see down here. I had to pick those up today, and these are joining plates, I guess you'd call them, or strips, to join 2 of these together. I just brought this piece out as a demo. Yeah, as you can see, it's too short. It's 24 inches, and I need to come up to here. So I'll have to cut this. I'm not sure what to cut this with. It's plastic. I guess I could cut it with a skill saw, but I'm not sure. I don't want it to chip and break all over. I don't think it's brittle. But anyways, that will be mounted to here. There'll be that strip I showed you to mend these 2 together. This will not be on the video. Basically, I think we're going to end this video right now. I just want to tell you what we're going to be doing and how it's going to look. This will give you an idea, and if I can do it, anybody can do it. Thank you for watching this video. Good day.